Hello and welcome to Decentralized Health Administration of the Eureka Project, the Eureka channel. We bring you critical knowledge about creating perfect conditions for much needed revolution in the health industry. And under these new conditions, universal health access will be possible. Everyone in the world, including you and your loved ones, will have access to health services, to the best health services available. Health for everyone will be of the highest quality there is in the world, and it will be affordable by all. My name is Dr. Masharia Waringi, and I come to you from the Eureka Project located at 1.4 degrees south of the equator and 37 degrees east of the central meridian. That's marked right in the southwest suburb of Nairobi. Today I have great things to discuss with you. We're going to discuss more. Today is the second session talking about using mushrooms to create Eureka chapter for creating sustainable One Health communities. And as we talked yesterday, last week we visited Professor Patrick Kanyi at the JKUAT. He's a mushroom guru at JKUAT, that is Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology Enterprises Limited. We went to the JKUAT, the science park, science and technology park, and of course, Mr. Kanyi had a lot to share with us, and we learned that mushrooms can be a great business for a lubricant chapter. So if you guys are forming a chapter, that would be a business of choice. Of course, there are many other businesses to grow. Mushroom is very technology dependent. Of course, you need to know and be willing to learn. So these education seminars at JKUAT is conducted by Patrick Kanyi. And so today I'm just going to tell you about the diseases that can affect mushrooms so that you can be aware. We're also going to discuss briefly about Nairobi Blockchain Conference coming on September 27th by Eureka Blockchain team, including David Kihuna, Jordan Mudemba, Peter Kabi, St. Peter the Rock, and of course Dennis Ogeto, Kelvin Kameni, and Francis Juna. Some of the materials that you hear from this video are accepted from Decentralized Health Administration textbook under development by Susan Nyabura in Eureka Research and Development Team, including Naomi Ngedodhodo, Winfred Mule, Abed Indiani, and Masharia and Frida Butale, and from proceedings of Eureka World Eureka Ambassador Program Team, including Purity Mudhoa, Winfred Mule, Wahito Washira, Grace Kishira, Betty Wajiro Washira, Naomi Ngedodhodo, and Masharia and Frida Butale, Barbara Kimani, and Abed Indiani. Well, before we go on, let's first visit the basics. Always remember the basics of what does Eureka Project strive to do. Strive to solve three fundamental problems of health. Let's call them, find solutions for three issues. That one of them is lack of access to health services, two is poor quality of medical services, and three is high cost of medical services. Lack of access to health services occurs when people do not have money to go to the hospital or to seek care. Lack of access also occurs when there is no hospital to go to. Poor quality of medical services occurs when good knowledge to deal with medical problems is scarce. High cost of medical services in most of the world occur when manufacturing of products that can be used to improve health is stifled. We solve the problem of lack of access due to lack of money by creating sokojanja.com, an online retail store where you can sell what you have produced to increase your earning power. Money in your pocket means realized access to health care. Eureka Clinics and Hospitals project ensure physical access to health services. Eureka Science and Technology Parks create places for translation and commercialization of new and relevant knowledge, ensuring best quality of medical services. Now, Eureka Biomedical Industry City promotes local manufacturing of biomedical products, reducing cost of medicines and medical devices and health services in general, making health affordable. Ubricoin, we talk about Ubricoin, the cryptocurrency for universal health access, underrates health production in the Eureka ecosystem. You can support universal health access by getting and adding Ubricoin to your portfolio of cryptos, or by getting equity in Eureka project. Get involved, do not sit on the sidelines of health. Buy and hold $10 worth of UBN each and every day. You'll be supporting the most important and biggest grassroots revolution for creating health for everyone in the world. You can get even more involved by joining World Eureka Ambassador Program, where you gain deeper knowledge about Eureka Project and continue to share that knowledge with people in your circle of influence. As an ambassador, you will be the bridge between Ubricoin, Ubrica, Sokojanja, and the people in the world. To increase your knowledge on blockchain and cryptocurrencies in health, take a course at the Academy of Cooperative Society of Ubricans. For inquiries on how to enroll for courses, write info@ubrica.com. Get involved. Hit the like button to cement your support right now. Hit the bell button so that you can subscribe to receive notifications. Participate in the chat. Share your views on how we can decentralize knowledge in health and medicine. Today, what do we have today? We have very, very exciting things to discuss. Today, we talk about mushroom for Ubrican chapter, Creating Sustainable One Health Community, session 2. Yesterday, we talked about how Ubrican chapter can grow mushrooms to activate for the element of health production for its members. Today, we focus on pests and diseases that could derail your mushroom project. Very important you listen carefully because there's a lot of things that could derail your mushroom project. So let's talk about general information about pests and diseases. You know, there is a whole range of pests and diseases that can attack mushrooms. The longer mushrooms are grown in one location, the greater the chance of having pests and disease problems. So you want to keep turning away, rotating the mushrooms. Of course, it's very important to strictly maintain sanitation and hygiene in the farm by sterilizing growing houses, proper disposal of spent substrate and the like. Even with the care, there will be times when a pest or disease problem may occur, and it is useful to be able to identify the particular problem in order that appropriate action can be taken. First thing is record everything, write everything down. Record keeping is critical to identify when the problems arise. Information required includes dates of all phases of production and particularly their parameters such as temperature, moisture levels, pasteurization time, and so on. Let's now speak about mushroom abnormalities, the mushroom itself. We can have different problems of formation of mushroom, like formation of scales or the crocodile skin. This occurs because when there is very dry air or strong air movement with low relative humidity. That's why you need to close in a place that you close the windows to prevent formation of drafts, like air drafts coming through. So either shortcomings in air supply and distribution system or tendency to strain from to form scales, damage also by insect pesticides. So the crocodile skin is mainly a problem of dry air, very dry air forming. So then you can have formation of stroma, which is a dense layer of mycelium without fruiting on casing soil. This is caused by low quality degenerating mushroom strain, and we have mycelial growth in a poorly ventilated casing layer, or with high concentration of carbon dioxide, high temperature, low humidity, and high volume of evaporation. And then this can also be caused by over a long period of mycelial growth in a casing layer, and petroleum-based fumes can cause formation of stroma. So you don't want that to happen, so you keep your mushroom in good quality space. We can also have another problem called rose cup or misshapen cup with gills on the cup. You know, gills like gills of a fish. You don't want that. This occurs because of casing layer contaminated with minerals, contamination of petroleum-based products. So I don't know how you get petroleum-based products, but of course, if you work with petroleum things, so you can have that problem. You have outgrowths. Another problem is called outgrowth on mushroom caps, like it's called coxcomb. This can occur because of an overdose of pesticides, casing layer contaminated with chemicals, or the effect of exhaust gases, heating appliances, diesel oil, formalin vapors, and all that, dissolvers and paint. Then another problem you can have with the mushroom itself is thick stipe or small caps. So excessively high carbon dioxide level on the initial growth stage can cause a thickened stipe. A small cap with a normal stipe can occur when there is improper climatic condition for specific strains. So, and of course, certain strains are susceptible. So you can have a small cap with a normal stipe. All right, let's talk about the pests. There's so many pests that can affect your mushroom. One of the pests is mites. Mites belong to spider family. They are eight-legged compared to insects, which are six-legged. They are very, very small and are usually not noticed until large numbers are present. Many different kinds of mites are encountered during mushroom cultivation process. Some mites feed on fungi and the bacteria that exist in great amounts in decaying organic materials used as a substrate in the mushroom production. Other members of mites are predators that mainly feed on nematodes and smaller mites. Only a few of them are considered mushroom pests. This include tarsonamid mites, that is Tarsonemas myceliophagus, or red pepper mites, that is Pygmephorus seleniki. The mushroom mites are so small that they're not seen with a naked eye. Okay, they're shiny little brown in color, feeding on mushroom mycelium and mycelium of many other competing fungi present in the substrates. They gnaw on bases of mushroom stipes, which in result become rounded and obtain a reddish brown shade. The amount of damage they bring to the growing crop would depend on the time and the degree of infestation. If a large population of mites enters the batch at spawning, then damage can be significant. So red pepper mites got their names from their reddish brown color and are often found moving on the mushroom cups and casing surface. These mites are not regarded as primary pests. Their presence is usually an indicator of trichoderma, that's the green mold, is present in the compost. These mites feed on various weed molds, but not mushrooms. But thus their presence indicates the compost is unsatisfactory. They have yellowish brown. They are yellowish brown in color, 0.2 millimeters in length, and have flattened appearance. They spread spores of trichoderma from bag to bag. They feed on competing fungus, and that is why their presence indicates poorly prepared compost and possible presence of trichoderma. They reproduce very fast. One female can lay up to 160 eggs within 5 days. They cause browning of mushroom heads and promote spreading of green molds, not only in infected room but also in the whole farm. You don't like that. When their population is high, they cause discomfort and even allergy to mushroom pickers at work. Okay, be careful now. What do you do when you get those mites? Maintain strict hygiene in mushroom houses. I've had many people are frustrated with growing mushroom because mushrooms require strict hygiene. This includes thorough cleaning of all machinery, equipment, and room, and that were used during the spawning process. Steam the rooms in the end of cultivation cycle at necessary temperature, and use disinfectants such as household bleach, sodium hypochlorite, and TPOR to clean all working surfaces and implements. Workers should wear clean clothes and dip their shoes in disinfectant solution. Like in Dettol, it's even sodium hypochlorite before entering the, sodium hypochlorite called TPOR, as we call it JIC2 in this country, before entering the growing room. So clean your boots, okay? So that is what you do, because you can have trouble. Keep straw and manure away from mushroom growing houses. Okay, we talked about this. Keep straw and manure away from mushroom growing houses. Use properly pasteurized substrate, that is the compost. Control mushroom flies. Remove spent compost from the farm. It can be used as manure for other crops. Okay. So you can see mushrooms demand that you are very clean. What about mushroom flies? We have scarabid flies. They are called Lycolaria species of phorid flies, that's Megacelia species. They can be a major problem in mushroom production. Adult flies enter mushroom houses through opening and cracks. They are attracted by the smell of substrate, that is compost, and growing mushrooms. They lay eggs in substrate, casing layer, and mushrooms. Each female can lay up to 170 eggs. At the temperature of 24 degrees centigrade, development from eggs to adult takes 21 days. Emerging larvae, that's the maggots, feed on the substrate, mushroom mycelium, and developing mushrooms. Damaged mycelium results in formation of pins, brown in color, and have a leathery surface. Now, developing pins and young mushrooms may not survive after larval attack. Infested young mushrooms become hollow and shrink and may eventually die. Larvae may also turn out ripe mushrooms, forming many passageways and holes, which makes the mushrooms unsuitable for human consumption. The affected substrate area turns into swampy masses with foul odor, in which mushroom mycelium will not be able to grow. Adult flies are known to spread mushroom diseases and mites. They are also a nuisance to workers. So what do you do when you get all that? All windows and ventilating vents should be covered with insect-proof nets. Use yellow sticky traps, yellow polythene sheets coated with vegetable oil to detect and monitor presence of flies in the growing house. In India, yellow colored bulbs of 15 watts and yellow polythene sheets coated with vegetable oil, for example mustard oil, have been widely adopted and proven very effective in management of mushroom flies without use of synthetic pesticides. So that means yellow light, yellow colored bulbs, that's electrical bulb, and yellow polythene sheets. Remove from growing houses and farm all used substrate. The spent substrate can be used as compost manure for other crops. Disinfect growing rooms with household bleach, that's sodium hypochlorite, for example, after harvesting and the end of the harvesting cycle. Remove weeds and rotting materials near the mushroom growing. What about diseases? We have disease like bacterial blotch, which is caused by Pseudomonas tolaacei. The main source of bacterial blotch in the mushroom farm is the casing soil. The disease is favored by dampness, that's high humidity, that is over 85% relative humidity, high temperatures, that's more than 20 degrees centigrade, and poor ventilation in the growing houses. Pseudomonas tolaacei can be spread by workers' hands, irrigation water, and on the inventory. Mushroom flies and mites also spread the diseases. The first disease symptoms appear in areas of the cups that have been moist for the longest time and areas where the mushroom's cups touch. Symptoms include spots that darken, becoming chocolate brown in color, and slimy. It can also cause distortion and splitting of the stipes. When infection is severe, spots spread throughout the whole mushroom surface. Seriously diseased mushrooms can become deformed and the cups can decay, giving a foul, unpleasant odor. Young pins affected by disease become brown and do not develop any further. What do you do? Now, this is what you do. You maintain strict hygiene and sanitation in mushroom facilities. Use properly prepared substrate and casing soil that have been adequately pasteurized. Avoid excessive humidity, high temperatures, and poor ventilation in growing rooms. Avoid fluctuation of temperatures in the growing rooms, which may cause water condensation on mushroom cups. Remove diseased mushrooms, which can be the source of disease. Control mushroom flies and mites, which can spread the bacteria. Wash mushrooms with chlorinated water, that's 125 ml, 10% chlorine, and chlorine solution for 101 of water per 100 meters squared. Let me read that again. That's chlorinated water. Put 125 ml, that's 10% chlorine solution for 100 liters of water per 100 meters squared. Use calcium hypochlorite products since sodium hypochlorite may burn the cups. Before fast break, then pin the size. The pin size is, use it before fast break when the pin size is 4 to 5 millimeters. Remove spent substrate from the farm. It can be used as manure for other crops. All right. So, what about the green mold? Green mold, that's Trichoderma aggressivum and variants aggressivum. This fungus is soil-borne. There are many species of fungus, but Trichoderma aggressivum, variants aggressivum, Trichoderma Hazianum biotype 4, that's TH4, is a major problem, particularly to button mushroom. It gains entry to growing rooms primarily through contaminated personnel and equipment. Other sources include poorly composed substrate or carry over in the rooms that were not sufficiently steamed off. Once introduced, it rapidly spreads into large disease areas from infection source. Infection of casing soil can result in serious losses. Green mold is characterized by dense white mycelial growth followed by extensive green patches on casing / compost of mushroom caps. The spores of the fungus are sticky and can easily be spread by flies, mites, and workers to previously uninfected area. Red pepper mites are often associated with disease. What to do? Maintain hygiene conditions. That's what we say each time. Maintain hygiene conditions at all stages of production. Use properly prepared substrate and casing soil that have been adequately pasteurized. Remove contaminated substrate as soon as possible from the farm and dispose of it at considerable distance, no less than 100 meters. Control flies and mites. Spread table salt on the compost in affected area when green mold is first recognized. Table salt. Filter air to prevent colonization of sterilized compost. Disinfect all structures and equipment, including clothing associated with spawning. Use immediately after disinfection or store where the air is filtered. Okay, so we have another disease called mycophilic nematodes. These nematodes, they are called earworms, EEL worms. They are common inhabitants of most agricultural soils. They feed on mushroom mycelium. They gain access to growing rooms in the substrate and casing soil. They are spread by insects, personnel, and implements. Affected areas become unpleasantly wet and soft with a foul odor because of anaerobic, that's not needing oxygen to live, anaerobic bacteria activities. Nematodes affect yield and quality. The degree of crop losses depends on time and level of initial infection. The infection at spawning time can have an effect on mycelial growth and thus making cultivation unprofitable. Infection occurring later causes only minor crop losses and goes unnoticed by the mushroom grower. The presence of nematodes on mushroom beds indicates bad cultivation conditions, that is poor substrate and casing soil preparation and non-observance of sanitation hygiene. So what do? Maintain good sanitation hygiene in growing rooms. Use well-prepared and pasteurized substrate, that's compost. Control flies and mites. Workers should dip their shoes in a disinfecting solution, that is sodium hypochlorite, before entering the growing room. Remove spent substrate from the farm. This can be used for manure of other crops. We have said that so many times. I think it applies literally to everything. So what about the dieback disease caused by a virus? This virus causes spots on the casing soil, spots in the casing soil where no mycelial growth occurs. Around these spots, mushrooms of low quality appear with long stems and dirty caps. Sometimes the only indication of virus infection is low yield. In severe cases, a few deformed mushrooms are produced. The disease can be introduced to the farm by infected spawn. It is spread by spores and mycelium from infected mushrooms. Mushrooms affected with the virus open fast, releasing infected spores. Sometimes mushrooms are formed inside casing layer, come out already open. That's a dieback disease. Spores from infected mushrooms can easily be carried by wind, insects, and implements, clothes, and hands of personnel. So you don't want this dieback disease because it can spread very quickly. Now, what to do? Observe sanitation and hygiene during the growing cycle. Cover the beds after spawning with paper, which must be sprinkled with 2% formalin solution every 3 to 4 days in order to kill all settling spores. Harvest mushrooms in proper time, not allowing them to open. Clean and disinfect growing rooms after growth cycle. Grow tropical mushrooms, that is Agaricus bitorquis, which is resistant to the virus. Okay, so Agaricus, and I think that's what we call white spot yesterday, white buttons, they are resistant to the virus. What about the white bubble? White bubble is called Mycogene perniciosa. Mycogene perniciosa. This disease is like a dry bubble. This disease, like a dry bubble, is soil borne. It is infested. Oh, come on. Infested soil may be the primary source of infection. Infection usually occurs at casing. The disease is spread within a house, mainly by water splash and clothing equipment, flies, and mites. Cross-contamination between houses can also take place. Young pinheads infected by mycogene, mycogoan, grow into shapeless lumps, cauliflower-like, and have velvety appearance initially and eventually break down, producing small amber droplets of liquid on the surface. It can also appear as gray fuzzy growth on gills, a series of radially arranged from the center, flat surfaces located on either side of the cup on which spores are formed. Okay, so treat that as a dry bubble disease. Okay, so the dry bubble is, just like the wet bubble, you have also a dry bubble, and treat it the same. Now, this information is coming from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology Enterprises Limited. So we did not create this information because we are not mushroom specialists. Now, if you want to learn more, you can call JKUAT or you call us. We shall help you to get in touch with Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture Enterprise Limited. It's very, very important that if you're going into mushroom business, you start by going to school. You cannot hack it because there's a lot of things to learn. You cannot just start doing a mushroom business. No, you have to be willing to learn. And if you're going to be in a Ubrican chapter and you want to do mushrooms, then we shall make sure that you have the appropriate connection. But it is something that is simple if you learn this sanitation and hygiene procedures or protocols that are required by mushroom. They are very, very high demand in terms of hygiene and sanitation. You have to clean everything up. Sometimes you even have to pasteurize the soil itself. If there are terms you don't understand, please write there, put a comment below and say, I do not understand what you said there. All right, but there's a lot of diseases. You need to come to school, come to JKUAT, and of course get to meet with professors there who will take you through these things so that you come out with knowledge. Okay, knowledge is power. And then because JKUAT has this training program for growing mushroom, make sure that you learn from the very, very best we have in this country. If you don't live in Kenya, we can actually make practical videos and then we post them here. But for now, we are requiring that everyone who wants to do this mushroom business come and be trained at JKUAT, okay? Because you've had there's so many diseases that you won't be able to deal with on your own. But the best way to deal with this is to make sure everything is cleanliness. Mushrooms love cleanliness. They love ventilation. They love air. They love humidity, but they don't love too much of anything. So each one of those have to be balanced. Let's say that if you want to learn about mushroom, of course we encourage you performing chapters to learn about mushrooms. Give us a call. Our phone number is +254 755 844 017 +254 755 844 017 +254 755 844 017. Let us get together and learn more about mushroom because mushrooms are very lucrative. As we said yesterday, 1 kilo of mushroom can bring you a lot of money, like anywhere between 400 shillings, that's 4 shillings per kilo, to dollars, let's say $4 per kilo, to $6 to $8 per kilo, even up to $8 per kilo. And that is a really tight amount of money because you can grow a lot of kilos of mushroom in a very, very small space. Okay, it's hygiene intensive, not labor intensive, hygiene intensive. Mushroom growing is, let's say, cleanliness intensive. You have to be clean. It's almost like you're going to an operating theater. You have to make sure even your gumboots, your farm implements are clean. You clean them each time, and you clean them with Jik or TPO, that is sodium hypochlorite solution. You clean them and clean them and clean them until you make sure that there is no chance of bacteria or spores left on you, or even mites. Make sure that everything dies. And of course, you have to steam the soil. You have to steam your preparation. You have to steam your compost so that it kills all bacteria and spores, everything that could be in there. So steaming means that you're blowing very, very hot air, water air with water, of course, steam. And so now to make steam is something you need to learn, and how you turn that steam into your compost. Okay. So again, I just want to remind you that Eureka Project strives to solve three fundamental problems in health production in the world: lack of access to health services, poor quality of medical services, and high cost of medical services. Lack of access to health services occurs when people do not have money to go to hospital, and or when there are no hospitals to go to. And poor quality of medical service occurs when good knowledge to deal with medical problems is scarce. High cost of medical services in most of the world occur when manufacturing of products that can be used to improve health is stifled. So you know that we are solving these problems one by one. Right now, we're working this relationship with universities to explore their science and technology space, so that we can know the opportunities for intervention. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching and always joining us every day right here at our Eureka channel. We really appreciate your support. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Two thumbs up. And you can also contact our office by sending an email to info@eureka.com or call us at +254 755 844 You can also visit our website eureka.com for more information. Of course, even ubricoin.com is coming up, but it's not complete. So thank you for everything, and let's see if